United 0, Southampton 0. Big up Leven coming through. It's one of the ones where you want to make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah.
But you know, had a couple of chances to win. But the red card was the big talking point in that.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, where I feel like there's a lot I could say in terms of like negatives and things that could have been better and should have been better. But at the same time, you also look at it where before the red card, I didn't think we were too bad. We could have been a bit more clinical. First things first, ref, Anthony Taylor. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't want to ever be the guy that's like, everyone's against us, the refs are against us. But at a certain point, you do start to go, nothing's going our way here. Do you know what I'm saying? And as players, if nothing's going your way, you have to react a certain way. And I feel like, again, there's times where things aren't going our way and people are almost not giving up. That's not the word, because people aren't giving up. No. But you see the attitude change where, like, everyone's a bit more like, do you know what I mean? Again, where it's like, you just got to keep going. If things aren't going your way, things aren't going your way. I thought we were decent before the red card. I thought the red card was a bit iffy because, yeah, he does connect with him, but he only connects with him because he gets the ball. Like his foot hits the ball and it rolls over and hits his leg. But
it's one of them ones where that literally is a 50-50. Like the ref obviously on the on-field, he done a, hiya, you right, mate? He gave the yellow card and it's like, you could stick with that. That's fair. But then when you slow it, when you slow it down in the freeze frame, and you see that the follow through takes his leg a little bit higher or his foot a little bit higher, you just know the writing's on the wall. But just in general, Anthony Taylor, he was really poor. Not to just put it on the referees, because obviously we all talk about the game, but in particular, Anthony Taylor was poor.
Yeah, I thought, like everyone around me, you know what I mean? You know, when everyone around you just like, again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Again. It gets to a point where like, I can't even react no more. Yeah. Like a couple of brothers looking at me where they're like, bro, again, I'm just looking at them like, bro.
Yeah.
What can we do at this point? But besides the ref, I did feel like we could have been better. All around the pitch, I felt like there were certain players who, we know we need a bit more technical security. There's a difference between being technically excellent and being technically secure. We have a lot of players who, when you give them the ball, they can do very great things. But a lot of those same players consistently will have moments where they are just too sloppy. Luke Shaw's someone who this season I felt like we could rely on in that regard.
He's just slipped off, didn't it?
Do you know what I mean? At times during this game, there were a couple moments where in transition you're thinking, make that ball, you've done it all season long, doesn't happen. Bruno, he's just like that. We know he's like that at times. For me, Rashford today, right? I feel like today was an example of where Rashford, as good as he's been, in those moments where he's isolated one-on-one, because we set him up for that a lot, he's amazing at creating his own shots. We've seen that this season. He scores crazy goals, right? But when he is not in a position to actually create a shot for himself and he has to maybe do it for someone else, provide for someone else, it's not the same.
So the link-up play and the kind of creativity side of it.
Like the combinations around the pitch weren't amazing. On the right-hand side, it's the exact same thing. I actually thought Wan-Bissaka was decent going forward.
We've been calling for him to start.
No. I thought Wan-Bissaka was decent, you know, when it came to like actually underlapping and combining with people around him. He did a good job, you know, combining with Sancho, which was a nice thing to see. I didn't feel like Anthony was getting too involved in that, which again is like, I don't want to like...
It's a bit quiet today.
I don't want to like hamper down on any individual specifically, because it's like, there wasn't one individual that I look at and I go, you're the reason why this is so... But it was just everyone was a bit off. There wasn't really anyone that stood out to me. Funnily enough, as much as I've been critical of him for a while now, Sancho I thought had one of his better games. I thought he had one of his better games where like there were moments where...
Do you think? I don't know. I thought he needed to come off earlier.
You know what, I can see why people maybe feel that way, but one thing about him today that I liked was that there were a lot of moments where, because people were so sloppy losing the ball, there were a lot of moments where he was just keeping the ball for us. Do you know what I mean? And we need that sometimes in these kind of games where everything's a bit haywire. So I actually thought that for him, I'm not saying it was an amazing game, but I think for him...
To be fair, I think the game changed for him. As soon as he had to go up front, I looked at him and thought, that's not going to work for very long. We need to get Garnacho, we need to put Rashford in the centre, which Ten Hag eventually did do. But I think once the game became a game on the back foot where it was going to be about transitions and running behind, you kind of thought maybe it wasn't going to be the game for Jadon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think maybe that's part of why that played into him being central rather than out wide. I think maybe Ten Hag wanted to keep Rashford out wide and isolate him there. But yeah, man, I don't know. All around the board, I didn't think it was too impressive. But at the same time, like 10 men down, at least you don't lose the game. I think there's been times where in the past, you would have expected us to just lose.
And
right?
to be fair, they hit the woodwork a couple of times, and Ward-Prowse, I think he skims the crossbar.
Yeah,
Was it Carl Walker-Peters?
I think.
Did he? He literally thought he scored,
I think
honestly.
He thought he scored and started celebrating.
And,
but
he's unbelievable at free kicks. And then, was it Carl Walker-Peters had that left foot shot that hit the
that
post?
was
It was
crazy.
unbelievable.
I thought that was in.
And then Bruno hits the post of the other end. So there were chances that I think, just to go on your point there, it is important not to lose when you're in that position.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the big thing here for me when it came to when we actually had our chances, it didn't feel like we were, because like you said, there wasn't a lack of chances for us, but we weren't very clinical. Like in the final third, that extra bit of magic that you need to really create goals, like we just didn't really have that. I felt like when it came to like a lot of deliveries today, there were a lot of opportunities for people in situations to cross. The crosses just weren't good enough, right?
Yeah, we did see that a lot. The
yeah,
quality, we lacked quality, didn't
That's
we?
what I'm saying. We lacked quality in the final third, and it's weird because we didn't struggle to like pin Southampton back. Like there were a lot of moments in that game where even when we had 10 men, like they were the ones on the back foot defending.
Yeah.
But it's like we just couldn't quite make that last sort of moment click, which is frustrating. It's very frustrating because I think that's one of the things where we've been better under Ten Hag this season, but yeah, we still clearly have a long way.
How big of a miss will Casemiro be again now? Because I think that's actually going to be 4 games now, because that's the second straight red he's had. So I think it goes to 4 games. So he's going to miss
So we played
Fulham
again without him.
Yeah, Brighton, potentially if they reschedule it. Newcastle away, he'll miss that. Some tough games, but how big of a miss do you think it will be not having him there again?
It's an obvious big miss because when you look at what he's done for us all season long, he's been so crucial for us. It's weird because even today, I didn't think today was his best game.
No, exactly.
Right?
Giving the ball away,
very sloppy
diving
with his
into
passing.
tackles.
Yeah, very sloppy with his passing at times today. But again, that was all around the board. Not having him moving forward is going to be rough because again, you're looking at McTominay to step in, who I thought did well when he came on.
Yeah.
But again, that's like a lot of pressure to put on McTominay. Yeah,
Go back to McTominay and Fred now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Bruno.
but it's actually
Bits
gonna
is
have to be
injured
that.
as well.
Yeah, like it's gonna have to be that. I think the rest of the season, it's gonna be very reminiscent of I think what we've seen in the past and previous seasons, where we're just hoping we can stay compact, stay solid defensively, because there's not gonna be much coming out of the midfield without Casemiro in there, because when he is on it with his passing, it's so key with us. So. Big miss. I saw it on his face when I saw the replay and his reaction. Like you could see in his face where he's felt like
He's pissed.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't remonstrating with the ref like, how on earth can it be a red card? But at the same time, it was more like, my follow through's a little bit high, but the intent wasn't there to hurt the player. It could be a yellow, but they've tried to go back and make sure they give the red.
Yeah, it feels like over refereeing almost.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it feels that way where it's like, did that need to be a red? Like was it? I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, bro. Listen, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Love, man.
Hopefully, though, moving forward, right, we can actually start to be a bit better in the final third. I felt like we had the chances there. We had that header in the first half that I wanted him to connect to that better. Without Casemiro, how will we handle? I'm not looking too forward to that. I'll be real. I'm not looking too forward to that.
Big up, bro.
Is what it
Love,
is,
man.
Thank
Come
you.
on, big up.
Thank you.